the Rus on Boulder Bay.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, obviously, HRE is going to have to be dealing with a lot of horse archers, I would imagine. I think that Roos can get a huge boom, get a bunch of horse archers to move across the Western Peninsula, but let's see where they spawn here, brother.
We do have MarineLorD on the north as the HRE in blue opening the Prelate as expected, and
Yeah.
down south we have Vortix playing as the red Rus. Notably, all the relics are fairly balanced. You see one behind each
Yeah.
player's base that's fairly consistent, and three in the middle fairly well balanced as well. So this is probably the best balance that we could hope for when it comes to relics. When it comes to gold mines, though, it's a little concerning for Vortex that both of his gold mines are very much out in the open. So if there's any kind of aggression coming this way, that could be problematic if he doesn't have a land army himself.
Yeah, don't think that'll be too much of an issue. I mean, typically, Roos are pretty timid until they get to the castle age, but for the most part, I think HRE is going to be the same way. Like they're just going to go boom. You can see they have the prelate there, giving the good old Jesus to all of those lumber workers. So I really like the point you made before the game because I was kind of being very critical of the Holy Romans in terms of naval play. But again, they can farm wood quite a bit faster with that prelate. So maybe that will give them a slight numerical advantage to win some of those naval fights.
So the main question right now is, do you think that the Vortex will be fighting for the water for a long time? Because he can go aggressive with his fishing ships and just try to push the opponent's fish, and then just say, okay, I give up on water, and I'm just going to go fast castle, go for the land map control.
Yeah.
So do you think he's going to put a massive emphasis on water, so fight for water to the end of Feudal Age, or just say, okay, I got what I wanted from water, and I'm just going to play as if this was Arabia?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. I mean, I think that the Roos would probably have a slight advantage at water, but again, we did the mindset of these water maps, like Boulder Bay and obviously some of the island maps that pretty much everybody dodges, is that if you lose the water, you lose the game. And I actually agreed with that sentiment to a large extent. I still do think that is the case on the lower and mid levels of play, but then you see games from people like the Dark Lord Viper, who of course came in and was able to win Boulder Bay after losing water. I think he lost water against French in Genesis, and then was able to win with English, right? Just getting a crazy good farm economy. And I suppose HRE could do something similar as well by having, a huge Aachen-based farm economy. Maybe if they're able to secure the relics, they could then contest against the Rus. Who knows? But
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll find out as we get to the second age.
There's a lot of options here for the HRE, especially if they can keep their fishing eco alive for a long time. Then even a fast Imperial into a Palace of Swabia can work nicely. So there is definitely a lot of windows for the HRE, a civilization that isn't really known for mobility, but on this map you don't need mobility, you need brute force power, and the Holy Romans are very good with that. Only 95 bounties so far for Vortix. He's just now grabbing the 100th piece of gold from that. Wasn't really an amazing start for him.
Yeah, a little bit slower, but again, it's slower in general now for Roos because obviously in the most recent patch, Relic did get rid of the old rapid fire scouts, so it takes him a little bit longer to get that bounty going. Whereas before, at this point in the game, you'd be seeing a Roos player sitting at like 250 bounty and getting that nice little second bounty boon there. But here it looks like he's still working through that first camp. And we do have 4 Lodya fishing boats out against the HRE, who are just now finishing their 4th boat. And like you said, I do think that we could be seeing some pressure from Vortex in the Feudal Age, especially if he gets there quicker, by transitioning those boats to attack ships and just trying to sweep the Holy Romans out of the water.
The magic here is that you don't have to mine gold to get to Feudal Age, and when it comes to those Lodya fishing ships, as we discussed, they don't have to drop off food, so you're saving a lot of travel time in between the deep fish and your dock. So you see, Vortex has a pretty decent resource bank coming in for him, and he should be able to click up to the Feudal Age first. There's another advantage of the Rus here, and that's the Golden Gate. So if you compare this civilization to, let's say, the French, you can pretty much age up with a market-style landmark, and you will be banking up a lot of food at the beginning. If you just want to go for water combat, you can just sell that food for gold, and you will have a bunch of gold in the bank instead. So that's something that the French do on this map quite often, and the Rus can do something very similar with the Golden Gate.
It's super scary, man. And this is very common in terms of Rus tactics. If you look in the base, they were just power building the Golden Gate because just like you articulated very well, you mentioned that he could basically just trade his resources and get all of those attack ships. Well, he's basically going to be doing that. And the Holy Romans are investing quite a bit in the water. I mean, they do have 6 fishing boats. It's not like they're, just putting their foot in the water and kind of getting a feel for things. No, they're actually committing pretty heavily. And in terms of the Holy Roman landmark, we are going to be seeing the Aachen Chapel, which is in a very good spot. It's hitting the sheep, it's hitting the gold, as well as the wood there. So the Jesus is being spread out. The Prelate will be there with his megaphone, and those workers will certainly work harder.
The moment that Golden Gate was finished, Vortix sold the gold.
Yeah,
And now the
no
question
surprise.
is he actually adding his combat ships or just transforming his own ships? And the answer seems to be neither. I
No,
don't
he's
see-
transforming one fishing boat up in the north. It's moving in towards
Oh.
the Holy Roman fishing
I see.
position.
One of the
I'm surprised
nerfs...
he's not committing more. I'm
Yeah.
surprised he's not committing more to this. I feel like 2 or 3 would be able to just sweep them. And like here, like he can kind of micro around one attack ship and put them in and maybe play a little bit more defensively and hold. But for the most part, this is still super disruptive and will allow the Rus to get a faster castle age, which potentially could allow them to deny relics as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised that he only pulled one ship, that's why I didn't even spot it. But this gives him a massive fish boom, because you see, at this point, it's all about the idle time for MarineLorD, so
Yeah.
he's just getting as much food as he can from the water. And as you said, it's going to be a fast castle-style play after that, so we already have a blacksmith coming in. He might even pop an attack upgrade on those Lodi attack ships.
Yeah. So obviously some ships in the game do benefit from blacksmith upgrades and some don't. And yeah, the Lodia attack ships also, if I'm not mistaken, do also benefit from the university upgrade, the ranged attack upgrade as well, correct? The one that gives 20% damage?
It should, yes, because this is an archer-style unit, so this is
Yeah.
an archer ship, and as such, it benefits from all archer upgrades. MarineLorD just now up to Feudal Age. He's going to get his galleys out, and those will be proportionally stronger than the
Yes.
Lodi attack ships. But at this point, the key thing for Vortix is that he's got fishing ships working, and his opponent doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I wonder if MarineLorD is going to commit even heavier to the naval military, like build like 4 galleys and try and counterpush the Rus, or if he's just going to be defending his shores. I feel like a counterpush could be pretty good here, but again, those galleys aren't cheap. They're 180 gold, which is a big dent in terms of getting to your castle age. But he does have the Aachen gold going, so he's going to be gathering quite a bit more gold. So yeah, Holy Roman certainly has some options here, and I don't think they actually lost any fishing ships in that initial engagement. And yes, look at that. We have extra galleys queued, so there's going to be a 3rd galley coming out. I think there will be some counter push pressure.
And that's exactly how MarineLorD should play this one. The
Yep.
Lodi attack ships are very good with early pressure, but once you get the galleys out, those will be better. So you see that Vortix, in fact, transformed some of his fishing ships into combat ships now. So he only has 2 fishing ships left and a pretty decent navy of 7 combat ships. But he's not
Yeah.
close to castle age, and that's a bit of a problem for him, I do believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having to switch these to attack ships is going to be hurting his fishing economy quite a bit. Now, back on the land, is he going to be compensating for this by, working on berry bushes or any sheep? It doesn't look like it. Looks like he's really, really banking. I wouldn't call this an all-in, but this is a huge investment. And if the Holy Romans are able to hold here with their galleys, with some good repair micro and some good garrisoning, that could be a huge, huge win for the Holy Romans and MarineLorD.
Absolutely. Like, Vortix is super aggressive on this one. He got the attack upgrade, and now he's swooping in, but that's a lot of Lodi attack ships over there, and one big push could just disintegrate MarineLorD's fishing eco here.
Yeah, that's looking pretty tough. I mean, there are 4 galleys. You can see the power repairs coming in from the fishing boats. One Lodia fishing boat is about to go down. The galleys are holding pretty well, but look at this. Vortix is actually sniping all of the repairing fishing boats, so that's going to be crippling the Holy Roman fishing fleet temporarily. But again, if the Holy Romans win the sea, they can simply rebuild that. But this is a pretty scrappy fight. Looks like maybe a slight edge with the galleys coming out. There's a 5th galley, and I think that the Rus are going to be forced back.
They definitely will be, although all the fishing eco for MarineLorD is gone, so I
Yeah.
guess Vortix has to be satisfied because he himself has some fish. And this is the magic of the Rus here. You can add fishing ships and decide if you need to convert them to combat ships. You don't have to decide, do I want to make an attack ship or do I want to make a fishing ship on your dock? You just make your fishing ship and decide if you need to transform it. The scout will be killed here, and upon seeing all those Lodi attack ships, MarineLorD will retreat.
Yeah, he's heading back up north, brother. And here he's got more galleys coming out. So yeah, it looks like both players are just committing to the sea very, very heavily. We do have more and more galleys being pumped out, which again are super gold intensive, but the Holy Romans are getting pretty crazy gold income. If you look at the income per minute for MarineLorD, it's 476 against the 220 for Vortix, which is huge.
Absolutely. Though, obviously, Vortix doesn't need a huge amount of gold income when he's just converting his Lodi attack ships, or his fishing ships into attack ships. And of course, we can also have Vortix selling resources on the Golden Gate for gold. So,
Yes.
obviously, that statistic might not be completely relevant, but as you said, the Aachen Chapel is helping a lot here for MarineLorD with the economy.
Oh, absolutely. It's helping him keep up. And in terms of lumber, they're both doing pretty well. The Rus do have some ways to get pretty good lumber if they want to set up like a fortress or something like that, but it's a bit more of a long-term investment. Anyways, water battle is out once again. The Rus are rocking, or excuse me, the Holy Romans are rocking 4 ships, and the Rus have a numerical advantage. But again, galleys have 150 more HP and 2 more ranged armor, so they are able to trade pretty well. But fighting near the enemy docks is very risky because they can fall back and heal.
Absolutely. Plus, of course, any moment you could have reinforcement jumping on you. But as we discussed, those galleys are just much stronger than the individual Lodya attack ships. So that's why we're seeing that even though numerically it's a better fight for Vortix, he's still not taking an amazing engagement over here. In fact, he's barely holding on against 3 galleys.
Yeah, I think that the Rus are going to be able to turn this around, though. I think these galleys are probably going to fall, and that could be really rough for MarineLorD. He might actually lose the water at this point, because look at the excellent micro coming in from the Rus here. Like, every injured ship is being split and pulled in a different direction. It's being healed, and the galleys are basically just being dragged through the mud. And look at the Lodya fishing boats. We have 8 of those bad boys, and now there's just like 2 haggard galleys sitting up in the north with more coming out. But that is going to be a tough counter hold here, as the Rus are going to be paddling those oars quite aggressively, moving towards the Holy Roman shores.
Now, notably, currently, we have 0 food income for Vortix, so that's something that he needs to change soon, and he's commenting with all his Lodya attack ships, but now the repairs are in here for MarineLorD, another galley is gonna pop out, so he's the one that can reinforce the battle a lot easier now, and as you said, map control might be on the side of Vortix right now with the Lodya attack ships, but how much he's benefiting from that is a question.
Yeah, because without the food in the background, I mean, it looks like he's got 2 fishing boats teleporting fish back to the docks. And I think that on the land, there's a little bit of Holy Roman farming going on. So yeah, the HRE do have 8 villagers on sheep, which of course are motivated by the Aachen. So they're going to be substantially more effective than just 8, right? Would normally would be. And the Rus, yeah, their income per minute in terms of food is really, really in the pits. And I'm surprised we're not seeing the Rus. Okay, now we're seeing it. If you look on the south corner of the Rus base, they are setting up a hunting cabin, and they are going to be going for the berry bushes. So I think MarineLorD did a slightly better job transitioning to a land-based food source, knowing that the naval combat was not going to allow for a lot of, fishing, really, at this point.
Absolutely. There is still the flexibility with Vortix, though, with the Lodya fishing ships, because, okay, he knows that now it's a stalemate on water. He can just add fishing ships. Worst case scenario, if he needs more combat ships, he can transform them, whereas MarineLorD has to make a decision. Do I make fishing ships or do I make combat ships? And the decision here for MarineLorD is combat ships, so he won't have a lot of fishing going on for him. Whereas you see, we have some fishing ships popped out by Vortix here. He's up to 4 docks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the economy seems to be sitting pretty well for MarineLorD as well. He's actually banking some food as well as gold. He's at 423 and 265. Looks like he built another galley right there. But he is kind of like slowly creeping towards the Castle Age. Not like super quick, but again, that is a big fleet of galleys. He's got 7 galleys against 12 Lodya attack ships. Obviously, the Lodya will have the advantage of the healing docks back here, so maybe they will be able to win this fight. But yeah, more attack ships coming out. This is going to be a real close one here.
It is going to be a close one, but an even trade would probably favor MarineLorD, because as you said, he's getting close to Castle Age. Nice surround over here by Vortix, and he's pulling up some more fishing ships that will be converted to attack ships. Looks like those last-minute conversions came in very well, and Vortix trying to pull back all those ships. So far, unsuccessful. Most of those ships will be taken down, but he still has the numbers advantage, so should be able to win water. Now I feel like MarineLorD has to work towards Castle Age and get a Hawk out, otherwise he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time fighting against this number of Lodya attack ships. And this is one of the things we talked about in the pregame, is that Rus are considered to be a pretty big naval powerhouse. Rus, Mongols, French are obviously very good with early hulks. Even with the nerfs, they're still very dominant. But here, just a decisive victory for the Rus at sea. It's a tough one here, trying to fight the Rus at sea when they can transform all those attack ships. And now, like you said, MarineLorD is going to be switching to probably a Castle Age push, as you can see. Oh, for a second I thought that was a demo ship, that little fishing boat. I was like, how did he do that in the Feudal Ages? But yeah, there's the water. The Rus have won it. Now, will the Holy Romans be able to pull off a Viper, play the land, and defeat the sea? We will find out here on this episode.
They need to. Like, at this point, that's your best bet. But you're not far away. In fact, MarineLorD is just now going up. He's rushing up that Regnitz Cathedral with 8. I think you could justify pulling like 20 villas even for that, because the sooner you get there, the sooner you will have the chance to go for the relics. And you might even save one of those docks. There's a dock on the right side. If that stays alive, you could get a Hawk out, and a single Hawk will be able to destroy all that Lodya ship force. Vortix knows that his opponent is going for the relics, so he's gonna start volleying up the majority of the map to prevent the relics from being picked up.
Oh my god, that's so good. Now, where are the villagers for those walls? It looks like they're running all the way from the base. So there is one relic in the realm. It's north of that dock there that's being destroyed right now. And in the base, you can also see that prelates are being built preemptively. And that's really smart. If you guys are Holy Roman players or aspiring Holy Roman players, as you're transitioning to the Castle Age, you really want to make sure that you're building prelates so you can grab those relics as soon as you hit the mark. If you wait until you hit Castle Age to build those prelates, then you're going to be substantially behind. But yes, I really do love that wall out play. We got one prelate here being attacked by a scout as he tries to get there. And will the Rus be able to wall them off? If so, man, that is going to be a really, really brutal situation if they deny the Regnets.
That would be massive. That's sort of a must-have, though, at this point, because you see that at this point, it looks like we're going to have 2 relics in at minimum, and with just 1 Hawk, that entire navy gets pushed back, and Vortix is not close to Castle Age yet. He's got the gold, but not the food.
Yeah. Oh, we got a Wololo. Is it going to get anything? Doesn't look like it. No, the villagers took the dogs out, so.
Every time I hear the Wololo, I get hyped, and then I realize that there's just such a long countdown on the Wololo that it's next to impossible to get a good Wololo in.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a disappointment. Now, one prelate is going secret agent. Looks like he's moving up into the hills, but the villagers are coming with their prison shanks, and they're going to be trying to hunt him down. So we'll see if he can make it. Will the scout be able to pick off this other prelate? I don't think so. I think he'll make it back. And the Regnets, I mean, having 2 relics in it isn't bad for sure. That's 600 gold per minute, so it's certainly better than nothing. But the Rus are completing the Great Wall here. Will the Holy Romans respond with some infantry, maybe to break down those walls and get more relics? What do you think?
There's a villager trying to sneak past over here, and that guy was just denied by a split second.
Oh, no.
Interestingly,
so sad, man.
We don't see a Hawk here from MarineLorD. He's going for a demo. Might actually get it out before the dog goes down. He got it out, and the demo comes in, and that is going to be a massive blast over there.
Yeah, that was a beauty. Although it didn't actually kill any of the fish. Or the boats, they're not fish, they're boats. Didn't kill any of the boats. So the Lodia boats will probably be able to go back and heal, and they'll live their best lives. They'll survive this. Now, we do have the one secret agent prelate up in the northwest who's going to be hiding in the bushes, saving Private Ryan here. He's going to try and make it back, and it looks like the HRE are going to be going for early knights, probably to try and break through the palisades and get that relic back.
But, as you said, now it is water control for Vortix, and you see that he can transfer many of those Logia attack ships into fishing ships if he needs to, but he doesn't even need to. He's just spamming out fishing ships like there is no tomorrow. Look at this. He's got like, what, 21 fishing ships in just a couple of minutes, and that's crazy. He can just use that to go for even a fast imp style approach at this point because his food income is just humongous.
It's going to be a massive, massive disadvantage for MarineLorD. Like, he is going to be super behind. Granted, his gold income is pretty insane, so that will give him the opportunity to maybe get the Palace of Swabia very, very quickly, but overall, it's going to be tough. Now, there are a couple ways to fight the water. Oh, are we going to see a Wololo in these villagers here? We could. Look at that. Oh, here it comes. He's paying attention. They're not going to let that happen. Our dreams crushed once again. There was a dream of the Wololo and the villagers, but it won't be happening this day. We might be able to escape here.
Yeah. I think that at this point, this prelate won't make it through the wall. Actually,
he should have stayed in the middle. He should have stayed in the middle. Oh, there he goes. He's back in. Dude, what a hero. Him and his bald head are going to make it all the way back. No, don't go back out that way. No, stay there. All right, he's still here. The fortified palisade wall almost down, but the wooden fortress is here. I feel like this is like that scene in the Star Wars when like Darth Vader is coming. Remember, and all the rebel soldiers are like trying to escape. I don't know if you've seen that, but
yeah. It's being shot at. It's being shot at, but I think it's gonna get away.
Oh man.
27.
Yep. Oh no, don't move back that way. Dude, this is so close. And he escapes. So that's great. He's got a fully operational Regnets. Now, in order to fight like a massive, thick water dominance, right? I think one of the main things you have to do is actually get the trade post going, the land-based trade, to try and keep up a little bit and get the sacred site in the middle. But look at this. We already have Imperial Age coming here for the Rus. We have the High Armory being built on the northwest kind of corner of the middle. And that is going to be tough. There's going to be bombard cannons. But again, we have Imperial for MarineLorD as well with the Palace. So maybe he'll get a big villager boom from that and be able to fight this. I don't know. We'll find out.
Archer Rangers coming in here for MarineLorD. There's a chance we're going to see hand cannoneers being added over here, which would be a little surprising, but nope. It's just food archers, which is a little underwhelming with the HRE. They don't have nothing special for their food archers. He's probably expecting cav archers, but with such an economy for the Rus, it's probably going to be Bombards, Streltsy, and Springboards combination. Something that's next to impossible to stop.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's going to be rough because, the HRE's big gimmick is their men-at-arms, right? You have these big, thick dudes with like maces that just get in there and hit like trucks. But again, against Streltsy, they're just going to get Last Samurai, dude. They're just going to get gunned down as they're charging. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really think that if MarineLorD is going to have a chance in this game, he's going to have substantially better engagements. He's going to have to catch his opponent's artillery out of position. Something like super magical is going to have to happen because that is going to be tough. And yeah, the Aachen farm economy should be kicking in, but that's not even really being maximized either. The Aachen is only currently hitting 3 farms, so I think that MarineLorD needs to take advantage of that as well.
And speaking of taking advantage, Vortix still has 2 relics, so of course his opponent is on a fully operational Ragnitz, but Vortix does have the Sacred Site on the left, and he's got Voz in front of it, and he also has the water control, taking control over the Sacred Site on the water, so suddenly his opponent will be on a countdown to attack, and when you go up to Imperial with the Pass of Schwabia, you don't want to be on a countdown, you just want to boom, and then snowball the game late game, but it's going to be very difficult against potentially Streltsy, a lot of artillery.
And keeps, because there's going to be a keep getting set up as well. If you look in the west, there's a big old keep, and that is really going to kind of, you know, make that push harder. Because then if you have like Springalds and Bombards sitting under a keep, it's so hard to push it. Like you have to dive it, you're getting hit with the burning oil. It's just so many things going wrong. And look at the nice infrastructure that Vortix is setting up in the northwest. He's setting up all the siege workshops. Forward infrastructure is super important for reinforcing your battle lines. And man, oh man, I am definitely feeling the danger here for MarineLorD. And he could be in danger here in this series. This could put him down 2-3 if he drops this game.
Absolutely. And currently it's a massive lead for Vortix. He's got a pretty much untouchable food economy over here. Super effective. We are talking about just a way better food eco than MarineLorD. And I don't think that Vortix is a single farmer or berry villager. He actually has a couple of berry villas, but most of that food eco comes from the water. What I would love to see is potentially a couple of trade ships, because that's one of the most underrated things of the water control on this map.
So strong. Oh, you're so right, man. You nailed that. Like, trade ships bring back so many resources. It is gross. And yeah, I haven't seen them too much. People don't do it terribly often, but it's really, really strong if you have water control.
It is extremely strong. It pretty much returns its own cost in 1 turn, and it's almost unraidable. That's the other thing. So your opponent has a very difficult time destroying it. Vortix is adding demo ships, which I like. If I was Vortix, I would probably fortify the left side, the land area, and leave the water side a little weaker. So your opponent tries to push over there, and then you can get some nice demo hits in. The Lodya demo ships are devastating, especially if they get the pyrotechnics upgrade or explosives.
Dude, this is so painful, man. This is going to be so hard to break. Plus, some of the Lodya arrow ships can also sit there and kind of slightly protect the sacred site. Also, the Rus could potentially get a high ground position up behind that sacred site. They could set up like some cannon towers up there. Like, they can really entrench this. And with proper spatial control, there's like MarineLorD should not be able to get the water back unless he builds like bombards and then moves to push off the coastal embargoes. Oh, it looks like he is. The first bombard cannon is out for the HRE. And it is taking out one of the Lodya attack ships on the northwest coast there. Okay, very interesting. And he is going to maybe try and build some hulks? What do you think?
It's a possibility, although against the demos, it's always hard. Like, one of the first games I ever casted in AoE 4 was like a very long islands game where demos from the Rus just went on and destroyed everything. Like, coastline castles died to demos. So, well, good luck using hulks against all those Rus Lodya demos. I feel like at this point Vortix could just ram that dock with his demos. In fact, the dock isn't going to complete.
Yeah, it was an ambitious idea, but I think he's just going to have to push the land. I don't think this is going to work out. Now, for the HRE army comp, it looks like we're seeing elite archers and elite knights backed up by bombard cannon, so that's going to be his bread and butter. And for the Rus, it looks like we're getting a second layer of wooden walls there just to make it even more annoying. Springalds are being built from the high armory, and he does have the extra tile range. So his Springalds have 13.5 tile range, whereas I'm trying to think what basic. Does he have the other siege workshop upgrade as well? Oh, did he get him? Oh, I missed it. Oh my god, you caught it. I'm so glad you're doing the spectator and I'm not. Man, he nailed those guys. Oh my god, that's so brutal.
That's like 6 tiles range, and that's what Lodya demos can do. I'm actually unsure if the Lodya demos have a higher range than standard demos, but it really feels like it, especially with the explosives upgrade, and that's going to set MarineLorD back like 3 minutes.
Dude. Yeah, he might as well be reverted back to the old feudal ages here. That was rough. So he's building a forward keep of his own. I would imagine more bombards are coming, but yeah, it's looking pretty tough. And look at this, a second Rus keep coming up, brother. That's going to be tough.
That is going to be tough. Currently, the keeps have all upgrades as well, so they do have, I think, a cannon emplacement on the one that's already completed, but more importantly, boiling oil is up, there's the Springos with long range, and Streltsy are coming in. I'm not sure if there's a university for the Streltsy upgrade, because that might be the only thing that's missing for Vortix.
Yeah, looking back at the HRE as well, they have some upgrades. They have a couple upgrades, not fully upgraded, but they're doing okay in that regard. And are we seeing any Streltsy out yet? Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just going to straight up spam spring ults. No, okay, now we do have the Streltsy being pumped out, like you said, from the triple archery range. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one to crack, man. Those spring ults are going to snipe those bombards super easily.
Now, if you're going for the Streltsy, the double time upgrade is pretty important to grab because it helps you set up those Streltsy a little faster, and also it helps you to run away from potential Knight's charges. So that's a pretty important upgrade. Vortix has the resources for it. In fact, he's floating a ton of food. That's the drawback of all that fishing eco. You just have so much food that you can't even do anything with it.
Nice of you to sell it for something else. That's pretty much it. And yeah, I really like the fact that the Rus, like, yeah, they could get bombard cannons, but knowing that he's going for this like sacred positional based victory, he's just massing spring ults. And Rus spring ults are some of the best in the game. The Chinese ones do have better HP, but the Rus ones have further tile range. So they'll be able to just dominate these HRE bombards. And then the Holy Romans are going to be forced to just move in there and just charge into basically burning oil, towers, and Streltsy. And that's going to be tough, especially with the magical Lodya demolition ships on the coast. And look at that, another demo. He just blows up the dock again. Oh my god, that's so brutal, man. This is so brutal.
Exactly, and the Lodya demos are also rather cheap, so they can do a lot of damage. It looks like a cavalry charge is being assembled, though, so MarineLorD has about 5 more minutes to neutralize one of those sacred sites. The one on the water is not an option at this point, I believe. He tried to read off multiple times, but the entire shoreline is covered with combat ships, so you gotta go for the one close to the keep over here, but even that's gonna be hard, because the Lodya demos might be able to range the sacred site a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's if they're like parked right up on that fishing node right there. I wonder, I feel like the Holy Romans should like go up to the north and west and try and push through on the high armory position, because like pushing into this gate here is just a disaster, right? Like you're getting blasted by Streltsy, cannon towers, but here he comes, man. The fight is underway, and the Knights are going to be diving on top of the spring ults and trying to shut down the sacred site to buy time. So it looks like the Knights are just diving in. Oh my god, but the demos are close by. Will he catch those? We will find out here as the Knights get last.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of spring ults, demos out here, and you see the Streltsy don't have huge numbers over here, but they have insane firepower. One keep might go down, but most of the forces here for MarineLorD are also gone, and now the spring ults are crawling up. MarineLorD will be forced back. 4 minutes remaining until that sacred site victory.
He did get one keep down, so at least there was a little bit of progress. I mean, now there's just one keep, and, you know, the Rus military force outside of the defensive infrastructure isn't that crazy, but yeah, like, all these, like, fishing demo ships here, or not fishing ships, but demo ships sitting in the water is just so foul. I mean, that is so hard to deal with. And the wooden walls that he just had to sacrifice, like, half of his army to get through are just being rebuilt, like it's nothing. I really don't see much of a chance for MarineLorD to get back in this game. Like, he's just so far behind in so many regards.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about the English being a very good defensive civilization earlier in this set. And the English is probably the best defensive civilization early game, but late game it might be the Rus. They got the Streltsy, they got the spring ults with the insane range, so it's very difficult to push Rus in Imperial.
I 100% agree, man. And yeah, spring ults under keeps with the extra tile range is brutal. And England would have probably been a better civ than HRE here for like playing land-based, because their farms would be generating gold in the Imperial Age. Whereas the HRE there, yeah, they had the Regnants, but aside from that, you know, that was probably pretty much the only gold they were getting there. So GG, well played. And that is going to give Vortix a lead here after a relatively rough start. He has gotten back in this series, and will he unthrone the king, or dethrone? Get the proper description there, and we'll find out.
So far, he definitely has the skill set for it, and now I feel like he can be disappointed with that Altai game, because he definitely had a chance to at least try and mount a comeback, and that's one of the 2 losses. Everything else, if you think about that, MarineLorD lost the Hillendale game, and what else did MarineLorD win?
So he lost the Abbasid game on Hillendale versus China. He lost this one, and there was the Delhi game in the beginning. So Delhi lost that one. That was a Vortix loss. You know, my 33-year-old brain is too old to remember